Over the past 2 decades, China has rapidly built one of the world's most technologically capable defense industries. It produces stealth-capable fighter jets, long-range missile systems, air defense platforms, and an increasingly sophisticated drone fleet. These advancements place Chinese weaponry in close technical competition with systems from the United States, Russia, and Europe. Yet despite these achievements, China remains a marginal player in global arms sales. According to global defense trade data, China ranks only 10th among arms exporters. While it has secured some high-profile deals, the total value of its exports is modest compared to leading powers. The United States alone exports weapons worth tens of billions of dollars annually, several times more than China's entire defense export volume. This disparity has sparked debate within China's strategic circles. How can a country with world-class technology and manufacturing capacity capture such a small share of the market? The answers lie in a complex web of political, logistical, and strategic considerations that extend far beyond the factory floor. First, defense procurement today is no longer purely a commercial activity. Countries don't just buy weapons, they buy partnerships. Buyers seek suppliers who can offer long-term logistical support, system integration with their existing inventory, and in many cases, political backing. Arms deals are increasingly bundled with diplomatic ties, training programs, joint exercises, and industrial cooperation agreements. China's current approach, however, has struggled to meet these expectations. While its weapons are often attractively priced and technologically capable, many buyers remain uncertain about the long-term reliability of Chinese support networks. Concerns persist about spare parts availability, upgrade cycles, and the risk of political fallout from aligning with Beijing. Recent events illustrate these dynamics. Colombia showed initial interest in the J-10C, a Chinese fourth-generation multi-role fighter. Beijing reportedly offered competitive pricing and full technical briefings. Yet Colombia eventually opted for Sweden's Gripen fighter, which cost significantly more per unit. The decision was based not on capability alone but on strategic reassurance. Gripen meets NATO standards and fits more seamlessly into the US-led defense ecosystem. Indonesia, another key market, followed a similar path. After reviewing multiple offers, Jakarta chose to partner with Turkey on a fifth-generation fighter program worth $10 billion. The Turkish package included substantial technology transfers, especially in radar and engine systems, and support for building domestic manufacturing capacity. China's offer, while cost-effective, was less flexible in terms of co-development and intellectual property access. This hesitancy is not unique to these cases. Argentina abandoned plans to acquire Chinese fighter jets after U.S. diplomatic pressure, opting instead for older American F-16s. Nations wary of losing U.S. military aid, trade access, or diplomatic support frequently sideline Chinese offers, even when they appear superior on paper. Part of this resistance stems from geopolitical dynamics. The U.S. continues to exert significant influence over defense decisions through programs like foreign military financing, coupled with legislative tools such as the National Defense Authorization Act. These mechanisms discourage many countries from sourcing weapons from China or Russia, often under threat of sanctions or security restrictions. But the challenge is not just about political pressure. Another factor limiting China's defense exports is combat credibility. Many of its weapons have yet to prove themselves in modern, high-intensity conflicts. For decades, Chinese systems were mostly untested, creating doubts about their real-world effectiveness. That began to change during a recent India-Pakistan border conflict. Pakistani pilots flying Chinese-built J-10C fighters and armed with PL-series air-to-air missiles reportedly downed multiple Indian aircraft, including a Rafale. This marked one of the first clear battlefield successes involving Chinese systems in a modern air engagement. The event was widely analyzed in global defense circles and began to reshape perceptions. Following the engagement, demand for Chinese systems like the PL-15 missile and Hongqi 9 air defense platform grew, especially among countries in the Middle East and North Africa. Buyers requested more detailed technical specifications and asked to see live demonstrations. The battlefield, as it turned out, remains the most persuasive proving ground for any weapon. Still, one battle cannot fully erase years of buyer skepticism. Nations want a consistent, long-term record of performance and reliability. They also want to avoid being isolated from Western logistics and training ecosystems. For Chinese weapons to become widely accepted, They must integrate more easily with globally dominant standards and infrastructures. Recognizing this, China has begun to adjust its export strategy. In particular, it is embracing more flexible partnership models in the drone sector. In the United Arab Emirates, Chinese companies have helped set up joint production lines for drones like the Wing Long. In Saudi Arabia, the Rainbow drone family is now assembled locally, with technicians trained in adaptation and maintenance. These partnerships deliver mutual benefit. Buyers gain operational autonomy, reduced dependency, and enhanced domestic industrial capacity. China, in turn, gains long-term contracts, embedded system influence, and increased strategic trust. China is also making progress on compatibility. Export models of its weapons are increasingly designed to accept NATO standard ammunition and software interfaces. The VT-4 main battle tank, now in service in Thailand, is a good example. It was built to use Western munitions and operate in mixed formations alongside US-supplied systems. This flexibility reduces conversion costs and allows countries to diversify suppliers without overhauling logistics or retraining personnel. Even in air defense, where Chinese platforms have traditionally remained isolated, new designs now include data-sharing links and communication modules that enable integration into broader radar and threat monitoring networks. This reflects a deeper strategic shift. For China to compete globally, it must not only provide quality systems but also build systems that buyers can trust to function inside their broader security architectures. Another area where China is gaining ground is in strategic diversification. Many countries, particularly in Africa, Central Asia, and parts of the Middle East, are looking to reduce dependence on any single supplier. They want alternatives to US and European equipment but are not ready to rely entirely on Russia. For these nations, China presents an emerging option, one that is non-Western but increasingly open to partnership and customization. This trend is already visible at major defense exhibitions, where China has signed a growing number of multi-year contracts, especially for drones, air defense systems, and armored vehicles. Notably, many of these deals now include clauses on local assembly, parts co-production, and even limited technology transfer. This marks a significant shift from China's earlier, more cautious approach. Looking ahead, China's ability to grow its arms exports will depend on more than cost and capability. It will require political finesse, supply chain transparency, and a clearer commitment to long-term client support. Buyers today are not only purchasing equipment, they are choosing strategic relationships. Ultimately, the global arms market is not just a contest of engineering. It is a contest of trust. If China can build that trust through deeper cooperation, combat-proven systems, and adaptive support models, its future in the arms export market may begin to match its global stature. But until then, its powerful weapons will continue to be outpaced by stronger political alliances and deeper-rooted systems of influence.